Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today we're doing a writing journal flip through, and it's not going to show like everything I've ever written in here, but I want to go through and highlight some of the things that I learned as a writing major, particularly from my creative writing class, and just go through some of the pieces that I made that I'm proud of. And yeah, it's kind of like a writing exploration. And as you can see, I did finish the puzzle from last week's video, but since I got them secondhand, there are a ton of pieces missing in this one, as you can see, which I'm kind of sad about because I really liked this one. But yeah, so it's finished, there's just pieces missing. So let's get into the journal. So a little bit of lore about this journal is that I got it for free, which is awesome because it's sparkly and rainbow, which are two of the things that I really like. And I got it for free from Noah's dad because they just had a bunch of extra stuff they were getting rid of in their house. And I was like, hey, I'll take that. So I guess we'll just get into it. So we open it up. This book is a friend. Nice. So this was just some notes from like something we were assigned to read on that day. That's an unrelated drawing. But these are just some brainstorming ideas, so like things your mother taught you, things your mom didn't teach you. This is actually going to come in handy because my mom wants me to write her a poem for her birthday, and that's soon, so I'll remember these for then. Oh yeah, this is when we were learning about imagery, and that's basically like the way that an author describes, excuse me, it's the way an author like describes a setting or something else. And I got really upset by this last story down here, and I had to stop reading and doing the assignment because of it, but that's my own issue. And yeah, a lot of these were just exercises. Like this one is kind of like reverse Mad Libs, where you write something that's normal and then you go through and replace every verb, or no, I think it's every noun with something that's like totally unexpected. And so I guess mine turned scary. So I think this was meant to be about a cat, and this was before I had my cat, so I was like really excited to get one. But yeah, needle eyes, sharp claws. I'll try to find some nice poems that I like, and then I will probably do a couple readings, I guess. So here's one about Spider-Man, which is interesting because I am actually in the process of writing a review of Spider-Man Homecoming, which is one of my favorite movies, and the whole review is based on the fact that Spider-Man could possibly be trans. But this particular poem was like, write a poem about a movie, but it has to be not from the point of view from the protagonist. So I chose it to be like from the point of view of the radio host. I don't remember his name exactly. I think it was like Jay Jameson or something, but he really doesn't like Spider-Man, so I wrote this from like his point of view. Swinging, but this time not on the playground. Crash. This isn't how I expected my Sunday to be. I'm sure you're sorry, yet sorry doesn't fix broken bones, heart attacks. What did you think would happen? Never meddle in the belongings of others. It can end so very badly. Which, yeah, it does sound kind of pretentious, but I hadn't written many poems at this point, so this was me just like figuring out my voice in the poems. But yeah, that one was pretty cool. Oh, here's a nice one. This one I actually developed more. So it's basically about being a writer, so I can start reading it. Write the words on a page, I guess, maybe more or maybe less. Pens don't move as fast as thought. Was there something I forgot? My hand cramps up but cannot stop, otherwise my grade will flop. All around my pen is racing. Pretty pens mean no erasing. So it's just like a really short one because, again, I was just starting to write poems, and that's kind of like, as you've seen as I flip through, I like to use the different colors of pens that I have because they're my favorite pen and I don't get to use the colored ones very often. So what better place to use them than creative writing? And so that's what this last line is in reference to, is like, once you write something in pen, you can't erase it, but you can still make different drafts. So yeah. And then here is something interesting. So one of our assignments was think of something familiar and make a metaphor with it, and then it's supposed to be about like making sure you only say what you need to say. So we did a 100-word version and a 50-word version. So I'll read the 100 version first. I sit at my desk, phone hovering above my head. My hands work slowly, heart quickly pumping while I pick colors, patterns, pens, making my theme come alive. Forming the pieces, laying them together, like goes with like. I stop recording, open my editor. My fingers tap and slide, stitching together the story of how it came together. It's slow but rewarding, and I take an extra step to watch through the whole thing. I take a deep breath and speak about my topic, pausing to curse when I fuck up, stab my thumb with the needle. Upload, thumbnail, format done. And if you can't tell, it's editing a YouTube video or like making a YouTube video. And I actually really like the 50-word version better, which is my phone views my hands working slowly along my desk, cutting the fabric of my paper paradise. Like goes with like, composing the scene. The video shards are stitched together, my voice forcing its way out of my throat. Fuck, needles in my thumb, voice broken. Upload, format, thumbnail, done. And yeah, this has generally more swearing than I do in my videos. As you can see, it's kind of like a reaction word. I don't really curse a lot in real life, but like I don't curse towards people, and I don't usually curse in my videos because I'm not really stressed in this setting. There's a cat right over here. But yeah, so that's why those are in there. But I think I really like this one better, and it does get the metaphor better. So the metaphor I chose was like making dolls with different steps, sewing, cutting fabric, and threading needles. Yeah. But that's also something that I do with my crochet. Let's see. Let go. Let go. So at this point, I just flipped past like a bunch of story writing, but what we had to do was write 3 pages of a story, and then we had to draw like how the arc goes. So like at this point, it's like I don't know what GBI stands for, but it was essentially like, oh, it's good fortune up here, unfortunate down here, and then like the baseline here, or like the beginning to the end. So at the beginning of my story, I had a middle school kid studying, but he keeps getting distracted. So there's like wiggles because sometimes they're paying attention and sometimes they're not. And then they fall asleep, which is unfortunate because they were trying to study for a test. They wake up, they run to school, and then they realize they studied the wrong unit for the entire... Excuse you. Don't try to eat my book. He realized he studied the entire wrong unit at school, so then he starts to cheat, giving him some good fortune, but he still ends up around halfway because at the end he decides not to turn in the paper that he cheated on. So yeah. Apparently my writing is delicious because Lewis keeps trying to eat it. One thing I did really like about this particular story that this arc was for is I had some cool characters that I made. Like I made this supervillain called the Denominator, and he was kind of like a recurring theme in my writing. So like he would show up sometimes and just like mess things up for fun. But yeah, this is like... Oh, and here he is again in a different, bigger illustration down here. And yeah, this is like developing part of the story where he, instead of cheating, he wrote a letter to the kid he was cheating off of and like basically kind of reconciled his... I don't know. He felt bad about cheating, so he wrote him a nice letter instead. So this one is also really fun. And this is actually one that got published in my college's magazine, or I think it's like a newspaper or something, but it's basically a juried like edition, and stop eating the journal. It's basically like a juried thing, so people can submit their work and then it goes through like a process of eliminating ones and picking the best ones. So this idea got into the like publishing like book or whatever. So I'm proud of this one. It's basically about me as a non-binary person, and it's called a hermit crab essay because hermit crabs take the shell of something else and live in it. So it's like a story that's in the shell of a resume. So you can see there's an objective and skills, experience, and I added some more experience later on because I realized I wanted to put more of them, and I could make it more literary by adding more, like talking about dysphoria coming out to people, just generally like my journey. So some of the skills that I put that I really liked were creates accepting spaces for members of the community to regroup and recover after distressing events, extends help and resources to less fortunate or new members of the community, eloquently explains concepts both simple and complex to allies and outsiders of the community, and fluent in lexis of LGBT community. But yeah, this one is kind of serious more so, and I think that might have helped it like be published in the York Review. But yeah, it's basically like my whole journey with realizing myself and being an outward version of myself instead of like hiding like I used to. That got really deep. Let's find something fun. Okay, so here's a fun one. This, our journal here, as you can see, this was written on October 10th, and then this next one was on the 18th. And the point of this journal is you should write in it at least once a day. And I was not that great at that. So this next one here is like a letter written to the journal. And this big like rant writing turned into a different poem, which I think the final version is online on my Google Drive, but it's not in this particular book. So I'll just read a little bit of it. So again, remember this is from my point of view talking to this book right here. Good morning. Sorry I haven't written here in so long. It's not like I don't like you, it's just that life got in the way. I know I should make more time for you, but I had so much homework, and when the break came, I spent it with my family, and you think I'm just making excuses. I get it. It makes sense. I'm trying to make up for it now. That's why I'm writing so much. So much, with the air quotes. Yeah, I know it's not the most you've ever seen, but I'm seriously trying. I'm sitting here in my physics class, and instead of studying for my quiz, I'm prioritizing you. And it's not just because I want a good grade, though that is part of it. And yeah. And then it kind of gets a little bit more depressing because I'm like, I'm a writer, but I don't know how to write. But again, that was right when I started in my major, and now I'm more like, I don't know, like absorbed into it, like an alien absorbing like a parasite or whatever. Kind of gross, but it stands reason. This is when I was like questioning, do I really want to be a writer? And now I know, yes, I'm pretty good at this and I like it, so yeah. Oh yes, here's something that will be good to end on. So it's like a common thing online when people post pictures of their dogs or cats, they make these silly little poems with like 4 lines each and then they rhyme. So I wrote one about our dog Tucker. It's really my roommate's dog, but Tucker is like a giant dummy and we love him, but he is very dumb. He likes to steal our food, so I wrote a poem about him stealing food. So here we go. My name is Tucky, I have long leg. When you no look, I quench the egg. We go on walk, but don't forget, when we get back, I slurp spaghetti. I drive in car and ride in boat. The fishes swim inside my woat, which means water. But yeah, I sniff my hairs, it make me sneeze, but if you gone, I eat you cheese. That was just different things that he stole from us. Like he stole my roommate's spaghetti at some point. He tried to eat my scrambled eggs. This fishes swimming inside his water is kind of a reference to like when he knocks his food bowl over and then the food goes into his water dish and we're like, why would you do that? So yeah. I think that's a good place to end this. If you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel. and you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And yeah, I will see you next time. Goodbye.